Rocky case, the civil cases, this one is in particular the one involving Joe Tacopina as a party as well. Filed a motion to substitute counsel, was representing himself. Well, now we have a declaration because he's asking for more time to respond to the defendants. It was Tacopina's anti-SLAPP motion, and then Rocky, as a party, filed that he's not opposing Tacopina's motion, anti-SLAPP motion. And the hearing for this was supposed to be the 8th, but it's been moved to, I think, like the 21st or the 17th or something. But I'll keep an update on that hearing. But that's not happening on the 8th like we initially thought. But we have a declaration, a short declaration from Terell Ephron. It almost made me feel a little bad. He says he respectfully submits his declaration in opposition to defendants' pending anti-SLAPP motion and in connection with the case management conference currently set for September 8th, 2025. And that's been moved now. Plaintiff was recently left without legal representation, despite having paid substantial legal fees, and requests additional time to obtain new counsel before responding to the motion and proceeding with the CMC. So, his declaration, I am the plaintiff in this action and make this declaration in support of my request for continuance. I initially retained my former counsel at Shepard Mullen, so this is Benjamin Chu, this is Camille Vasquez, after receiving strong recommendations based on their positive reputation. I understood this case would likely be heavily contested, particularly given the considerable resources available to the defendants, and I made every effort to retain experienced representation accordingly. My former counsel advised and encouraged me to file this defamation action, and I relied on their legal expertise and guidance throughout this case. Despite representing me since August 9th, 2023, and being paid a substantial retainer since the start of this case, and remember, it was stayed. There really wasn't that much motion here. And in the other case, he had different attorneys that did the initial filings for him, and that case was stayed as well. We also had an order to show cause for Camille Vasquez because she failed to appear for a court date. I believe there was a similar issue in the case that's just against, the personal injury case that's just against Rocky, but the judge didn't issue an order to show cause. But a missed appearance in both cases. So, in a way, I don't think Relli's in the right, but I think if you're paying a substantial amount for legal services and the case has stayed for a substantial amount of time, not much work is being done. What are they billing you for? They're missing your hearings. I mean, feel like that's I feel him on that. On August 5th, 2025, I was instructed to sign a substitution of attorney form, which they filed at the court on August 11th, 2025. The consequences and legal implications of signing that form were not explained to me at the time. At the time my attorneys requested the substitution form be signed, defendant's anti-SLAPP motion was pending and is currently set for hearing on September 8th, 2025, the same day as the case management conference. So, right, they had all this time that they could have withdrawn. When did the Rocky trial was the end of January, beginning of February was all that noise. They could have withdrawn any point. But after we get some filings, let's go look over at the docket. Let's go look over at the docket. We have all this activity. They've got case management stuff happening. And then we start getting together special motion to strike. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with it. Even though they damn well should have known that was coming. But I'm sure they were billing Relli for all of this hang-around time. So, it is what it is. I mean, maybe just call that karma for Relli, because again, I think not only is it I think these are frivolous cases in the civil world, but his claims are something that led to a criminal prosecution. Nope, this is his declaration asking for more time because they withdrew because funds ran up. They weren't getting paid enough. So, and we're finding out that this wasn't on a contingency basis, at least not in full. Let's see. The consequences and legal implications of signing that form were not explained to me at the time. At the time my attorneys requested the substitution form be signed, defendant's anti-slap motion was pending and is currently set for hearing on September 8th, 2025. Again, that's been moved. Same day as the case management conference. I do not have any formal legal training or experience and have a very limited understanding of legal procedures. Well, hold on. Oh man, what was that moment where he was like trying to define what extortion is during trial? Either it was while he was on the stand or it was in one of the recordings, the recorded phone calls. So, you acted like you knew how it worked back then. Because anti-slap motions have strict technical and evidentiary requirements, this is very true. I believe it is in the interest of justice that I be granted additional time to secure new counsel. So he's looking for new counsel, you guys. He's trying not to go up as pro per against Tacopina Chad Siegel. And I would never, oh my gosh. I would be scared if I had good counsel and I was going up against Tacopina and Siegel. Since the departure of my former counsel, I have been diligently searching for new representation. I have contacted multiple attorneys and law firms and continue to vet potential counsel. However, due to the complexity of the matter and the approaching hearing date, I have not been able to retain new counsel. I make this request in good faith, not to delay, but because I was left in this position through no fault of my own. And to be fair, if they withdrew any time earlier than this, after they saw the criminal trial play out, I'd be like, well, they withdrew because your facts are bad. But they strung along this whole time. And then go, well, we really don't want to take on this anti-slap motion now, so thanks for all the money you already paid us. We're out. It's too much work. Too much work. We're out. I simply seek a fair opportunity to respond to the defendant's motion with the assistance of counsel. So he requests, for the foregoing reasons, that the court continues the hearing on the defendant's anti-slap motion for at least 30 days to allow plaintiff to retain new counsel and file an appropriate opposition and continue the case management conference to the same date. So I don't think they gave him They extended, I think they still have a case management conference. Let me see exactly how it was worded. Okay, so the hearing for the 18th, it's September 18th, is for the hearing on this motion for extension of time. So there we go. That's where we're at with that case. That is our ASAP Rocky and Relli update. So, but yeah, I mean, I think because of the timing of this, I do feel like he deserves the extension. You know, it'd be one thing if they withdrew months ago and then the deadline was coming up for this and then he's like, oh my God, I'm panicking now that it's been months. But, you know, I'm not going to gripe and be petty just because I think he's a liar. So, let's see. Yes, Nick Starro earlier. This is, yeah, I agree. This is exactly what happens. That if the person the investigators think is guilty has an alibi, they change the timeline to fit around the alibi. Yep. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, Jordy says, because me personally, if I start paying an attorney, I'm all in till the end. LOL, not letting it go to the waste. Oh, that's true. You're going to keep the case going rather than withdraw the case entirely. Yeah, that's true. He could just withdraw the case. But, damn. And both are still active, guys. Both cases are still moving forward, moving along. Paulette, thank you for the super. Paulette says, good morning, Kat. Glad to see you all. I know, I always love, I see a story and I'm like, sometimes I'll just share it over on X, but I'm like, oh my gosh. They had the actual murderer in front of them. And they're waving their hand. They touched all the tape. And yeah, there's DNA from the wrongly convicted in the apartment, but the hands on the tape are this star witness. What are we doing here? Oh, man. Just a hot mess. And I really wish, this is so long ago, but imagine 20 years from now when more cases and the video recordings for cases are more accessible, and you hear something was overturned and you could go back to like 2020 and watch. You could just go to YouTube and pull up trial footage, courtroom footage. And then we could actually imagine if we could go see this testimony, like video replay of this testimony. Because I just feel like we probably would have gotten the vibe that something isn't right. Something isn't all the way credible here with this testimony from Duct Tape Lady. Or Package Tape Lady. Yeah. Patty B, I do think that'd be the course of action. I would imagine the attorneys, he said plural, he's contacted several firms. Maybe he's weighing options. Maybe he's trying to decide. But probably aren't that many if he hasn't found one and needs to file this declaration. And I do believe he's actually calling attorneys because, he lawyered up pretty quickly, not as quick as he said at trial, but he did lawyer up to do the personal injury suit months and months and months ago already. But yeah, I think people probably don't want to take his case, and he can't offer money up front, so why take the risk? Oh yeah, and Nick, this want to drive a prosecutor nuts, want to have them screaming in court. Let them be mad that the defense didn't tell them something months in advance, that they had no obligation to tell them months in advance. Well, Your Honor, they never told us that their client had an alibi. Well, they didn't have to. Especially not months in advance. And not for nothing, but the state always has way more resources available to them for investigations, subpoena power, to go and access the information they would need to be able to discern if somebody was at the time and in the right place for the crime when they think it was committed. So, always love to see a prosecutor get mad about that. And yeah, I think that's it. He's going to have a tough time finding someone to take the case, and who knows, maybe he'll end up just letting this one go. Maybe he'll let this one go and take on the other personal injury case where technically Tacopina is not a party. And we, on other streams, you guys, we've looked at the statements that Relli is saying were defamatory. And it was like, my client's innocent. This is a money grab. I think you had a jury agree in a criminal trial where the standard is much higher. So, but there's my quick Friday get together, you guys. It's good to see everybody this morning. When we end this one out, we're gonna play the Objection Sustained song that we did. I still have to upload that for you guys. That was generated from the Christopher Wolfenbarger trial and all the shenanigans, the Waffle House, everything that went on over there, the intermittent mist and downpours, all of the fun times. That's how we're going to round this out, but we can redirect. And it'll be nice because when I open up the available streams to redirect you guys to, I don't think it's going to be a barrage of Adelson. I think all of that's quieting out. Let's see. Who do we have available? Yeah, love when the band gets back together. You're making me think